Hi, welcome to this video by Creating a Family. I'm Dawn Davenport. I'm the Executive Director of Creating a Family. And today we're going to be talking about common sense internet rules for kids. All right, the first rule I think you need to have as a parent is when you decide to have a designated computer for your child, sometime, in elementary school, make certain that you classify that the computer is a family computer, not your child's computer. And I think this is important because of the attitude it sets. It's not just words only. I think it's important that your children know that it is not their computer only, that it is your computer too. If your teen is wanting to have a password protected user account on that computer, and there's logical reasons why a teen might want not to have younger siblings getting on and changing settings and things like that. Insist that that would be all right, but they must share the password with you. And as it's fitting of a family computer, you need to go on and use that computer a couple of times a week. Now, obviously, you need to do it to check and make certain that the updates are being installed and spyware and stuff like that. And that's certainly one of the reasons you are doing it. But the other reason is it's important for your kids to know that you will utilize that computer. I think just knowing that your parents will be on the same computer as you sometimes acts as a break and it makes them think before they are searching for something that might be inappropriate online. With this family computer, you need to put it in a place that is out in the open and family room. Some people put it in the kitchen or off of the kitchen. If it is a laptop, which oftentimes it might be, there needs to be a designated place for the computer. This is not punitive. It's simply that this is a family computer, and we all need to be able to utilize it. Therefore, it sits on this table in this place, and enforce that rule. And this is very important. Do not let your children or your teen have a computer, at least a young teen, or even a middle-aged teen, have a computer in their room. In our family, we simply didn't allow it at all. We had until they left for college. When they graduate from high school, for those of our children who have done that so far, we buy a computer for them at that point, and at that point, that is their computer, and they can have it in their room. If your child outfoxes you, as one of mine did, and wanted to buy their own computer so he would have it in his room, we simply enforced it, saying he had to wait until he was 17. He did have it in his room after that. Let's see, your kid's going to tell you that you're the only one in the whole world that will not let them have a computer in the room. That is absolutely not true. Besides that, you really don't care. Be very aware of devices such as smartphones, iTouch, things like that, iPads. They're basically computers, and at that point you will have zero control over what your child is doing online. That may be okay with you, but just acknowledge that that's what's happening when you get one of those. When your child is on a computer, the family computer, don't hover, but on the other hand, don't be absent. Periodically walk by. If you're cooking in the kitchen, take them a bite of what you're preparing and ask them to taste it and tell you whether it needs more sugar or more salt or whatever. Just be a presence around, and that is very helpful for kids. Talk with your kids out in the open. Have a family discussion about privacy setting, about a reputation online, about never sharing identifying information. In fact, have your kids do some of the research for you on what type of privacy settings, on how what ways that you can lose your identity or identify yourself and where you live online without even being aware, and have them teach you. Have a family meeting or even over dinner. Have them get the information and share with you. And it's helpful for you to be aware as well, because plenty of adults also screw up by identifying information online without even being aware of it. Explain to your kids that anything they post online can be seen by anybody. They may think they have it locked down so that only friends can get it. They may think that nobody else is going to be able to see it. But the truth is, if it's on the internet, somebody else can see it. And if they don't want somebody to see a picture of them or hear a post about something they did, they should not put it online. Employers are looking for it now. Teachers are looking for it now. Some schools are looking for it. Simply don't put anything online that you don't want your Sunday school teacher to see. Um, Set limits on the amount of time your child is in front of the computer. That is such a good rule across the board. Kids need to be more active than they are, and too much time in front of a computer is not good for them for any number of reasons. In our family, we had a screen time rule, and they could divide up the screen time between TV and the computer however they might choose. But there was still a limited amount of time in the day that they could be sitting in, or they can be sitting in front of a screen. I do think that it's helpful to negotiate this rule, talk with them, see what they think is reasonable and what you think is reasonable, come to a compromise. I think that's respectful to your kids, for one, but I also think from a practical standpoint that it allows them to buy into the rule and therefore be more willing to abide by the rule. I also think it's important to set limits on what time of day your kid can use the computer. It's been my experience that late night browsing is usually not a good sign. The social networks have age limits. Facebook's age limit is 13. MySpace's age limit, I am told, is 14. I wasn't able to actually find that on their site. I did find it on their site, but it was a 2006. I assume it's still 14. In our house, we had the rule that you had to be 14 before you got onto the social networks. Enforce that rule. Children don't belong on social networks. If your teen has a social networking account, we have insisted, and I suggest you do the same, that they friend you. And we handle it in just a matter-of-fact way. This is what our family does. It's important for safety reasons. If you want an account, this is what you need to do. And I suggest that that is the approach. Periodically, check their wall, but be unobtrusive. Don't post. Don't try to be cute on your kid's Facebook page. That's just embarrassing for them and probably for you too, unless you have that sort of relationship with your child. And if that's okay, then if you do, bully for you. But otherwise, try to be unobtrusive and don't overreact to small things. Your kid needs a place where they can just hang out, and right now in this generation, that is Facebook. So don't become oppressive about it, but just keep a finger on a pulse of what's happening on your kid's Facebook page. And also, be very careful that when you are friended with your kid, they have access to your wall as well. So oversharing can go both ways, so be cognizant of that. It is helpful, I believe, for elementary age and for younger teens to put on some type of parental software control, Safe Eyes, Net Nanny. There are others that are out there, and there are review sites that you can just type in review of parental software for the internet rather. In my opinion, these type of softwares are really worthless when it comes to older teens, and I think they're counterproductive at that point. I think it's just tempting the kids to go elsewhere or tempting them to try to figure out a way around it. Again, not necessary. I think that at this point, when you are dealing with middle to upper teens, your best bet is to keeping the dialogue, keeping a line of communication open, talking to them about what your concerns are, and a certain amount of trust is necessary at that point. I hope that this has been helpful for you. This will be posted on our site, creatingafamily.org, as well. Thanks for joining us. Bye.